Keep your hands off her! Arg! Stop this now! You won't get away with this!
The Grand Crystal Crown Hotel glittered beneath thousands of golden lights, welcoming the wealthiest families in the city to the engagement celebration of billionaire heir Ethan Sterling and his glamorous fiancée, Victoria Langford. Every chandelier sparkled like diamonds, every table overflowed with imported flowers, and every guest wore designer suits and gowns worth more than most people's annual salaries. Hidden among the elegantly dressed staff was a young maid named Emily Carter. Dressed in a simple black and white uniform, with her dark hair tied neatly into a bun and her eyes lowered in quiet humility, she looked no different from the dozens of other employees rushing around the ballroom. No one noticed the calm confidence behind her gentle smile or the old silver pendant resting beneath her collar, a pendant belonging to an ancient martial clan believed to have disappeared decades ago. Emily had accepted the housekeeping job only a week earlier, hoping to live an ordinary life after leaving behind a violent past that had stolen everyone she loved. She had promised herself never to fight again unless there was absolutely no other choice. Subscribe to my channel. Victoria Langford was admired for her beauty but feared for her cruel arrogance. She enjoyed proving her superiority over anyone she considered beneath her. As she entered the ballroom wearing a dazzling white designer gown covered with diamonds, photographers rushed toward her while guests applauded. She smiled proudly, believing the world existed to admire her. Her eyes wandered across the room until they stopped on Emily, who was quietly arranging crystal glasses on a nearby table. Victoria frowned. "You," she snapped loudly enough for everyone nearby to hear. "How dare you leave fingerprints on my champagne glass?" Emily respectfully bowed her head. "I'm sorry, Miss Langford. I'll replace it immediately." She reached for another spotless glass, but Victoria slapped it from her hands. It shattered across the marble floor, the sharp sound silencing nearby conversations. "Did I tell you to move?" Victoria shouted. "Clumsy servants like you should learn their place." Embarrassed guests exchanged uncomfortable glances while several staff members lowered their heads, knowing better than to interfere. Emily quietly knelt to collect the broken pieces without saying a word. A tiny drop of blood appeared on her finger where the glass had cut her skin, but she didn't react. Victoria looked down with satisfaction. "Look at you," she sneered. "You're lucky people like me even allow you to work in places this beautiful. Without rich families, you'd probably be begging on the streets." Emily remained silent. Years of martial discipline had taught her that true strength often appeared as patience. She carefully wrapped the broken glass in a cloth and stood again. "Is there anything else I can help you with, Miss Langford?" Her calmness irritated Victoria even more. Across the ballroom, Ethan Sterling noticed the commotion but assumed it was another harmless argument between his demanding fiancée and the hotel staff. He sighed and returned to greeting business partners, unaware that destiny had already begun rewriting the future of everyone in the room. Meanwhile, an elderly man seated quietly in a corner observed Emily with narrowed eyes. Master Liang, once known as one of Asia's greatest martial arts teachers, had attended the engagement as an honored guest. The moment he saw Emily's posture while cleaning the broken glass, he froze. Her balance, breathing, and movements were unmistakable. "Impossible," he whispered. "That stance belongs to the Shadow Phoenix clan." Victoria wasn't finished humiliating her target. She deliberately picked up a glass of expensive red wine, and pretended to lose her balance. The wine poured directly over Emily's uniform, staining the white fabric crimson. Gasps echoed throughout the ballroom. Victoria laughed. Oops, I guess servants should expect accidents. Several guests laughed nervously, hoping to stay on the future billionaire bride's good side. Emily slowly looked down at her ruined uniform before quietly replying, "It's all right, Miss Langford. I'll clean it." Her voice remained calm, but deep inside, painful memories resurfaced. Years earlier, arrogant criminals had insulted her elderly master the same way before murdering him. She closed her eyes for a brief moment, forcing those memories back into the darkness where they belonged. Master Leong's expression became increasingly serious. "She's controlling her breathing," he muttered. Any ordinary person would already be crying or shouting. He remembered stories about the Shadow Phoenix clan, whose warriors could remain perfectly calm even under unbearable humiliation. They believed anger clouded judgment while patience sharpened victory. If Emily truly belonged to that legendary clan, then Victoria had unknowingly insulted someone capable of defeating an army with her bare hands. The evening continued, but Victoria repeatedly found excuses to torment Emily. She ordered her to polish shoes that were already spotless, carry impossibly heavy boxes alone, and clean imaginary stains that didn't exist. Every task was accompanied by mocking insults. "People like you should thank wealthy families every day," she declared loudly. "Without us, your lives would be worthless." Emily silently completed every assignment, refusing to respond. The hotel manager secretly admired her professionalism, though he worried Victoria would eventually go too far. Later that night, an unexpected problem interrupted the celebration. One of the hotel's security guards rushed into the ballroom, whispering urgently to another guard. Their expressions turned pale. Within seconds, panic spread among the security team. A notorious jewel thief known as Black Cobra had reportedly entered the hotel disguised as a guest. The priceless sterling diamond, displayed as the engagement's centerpiece, was believed to be his target. Security officers immediately surrounded the glass display case while guests nervously stepped backward. Victoria rolled her eyes dramatically. "This hotel is pathetic," she complained. "Imagine allowing criminals inside during my engagement." She suddenly turned toward Emily again. "Search the servants first. They're the most suspicious people here." Emily calmly raised her hands while guards inspected her uniform. Of course, they found nothing except a small silver pendant. One guard frowned. "Interesting necklace." Before Emily could answer, Master Liang quickly interrupted. "It's just an old family keepsake," he said smoothly, protecting her secret. As tension filled the ballroom, the lights suddenly went out. Women screamed. Men shouted for security. Complete darkness swallowed the room for several terrifying seconds. Then a loud crash echoed through the hall as the display case shattered. When emergency lights flickered back on, the sterling diamond was gone. Chaos erupted. Guests pushed one another while security officers sealed every exit. Ethan Sterling demanded immediate answers. Victoria pointed directly at Emily. "It has to be her," she shouted. She was standing closest to the display before the lights went out. "Arrest that maid." Several frightened guests quickly agreed, eager to place blame on someone powerless. Emily looked around calmly. "I didn't take the diamond." Victoria laughed mockingly. "Of course you'd deny it. Poor people always lie when they're caught." Before anyone could respond, a masked man suddenly appeared on the balcony overlooking the ballroom. Wearing black clothing and holding the glittering sterling diamond, he laughed loudly. "You're searching the wrong person." Security guards rushed toward him, but he moved with astonishing speed, knocking them aside effortlessly. Even trained officers couldn't touch him. Guests screamed as tables overturned and expensive decorations crashed to the floor. The masked thief prepared to leap through a nearby window when he noticed Emily standing quietly below. Their eyes met for the first time. To everyone's shock, the thief's confident smile disappeared. His face turned pale beneath the mask. His hands began to tremble. In a frightened voice that almost no one could hear, he whispered just 4 words. Emily slowly lifted her eyes. For the first time that night, she stopped pretending to be an ordinary maid.